Everybody, it's 10 a.m. Monday morning. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. We're on YouTube live right now. This is Brunansky's vlog. We are getting ready to start a brand new episode today, so thank you so much for joining me. Hope your Monday started off okay. It's October. It's Halloween season. Let's get into it. But before we jump into this week's brand new episode, let's take a quick look over at YouTube to see if we got a good connection, a healthy stream. Green lights on. That means we are good to go. So let's go ahead and roll this intro. We'll be right back. We have got a lot to talk about. We've got some movie news, 2 movie reviews. We're going to take a look at what's hitting theaters and DVD this week, and also Certified Rad. So don't go anywhere. Let's roll the intro, give everybody a second to hop in, and then we'll be right back with you guys to talk movie news, movie reviews, and a little bit more. Stay tuned. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. This is Brunansky's Vlog, live on YouTube every Monday morning right here on YouTube, 10 a.m. PST. This is your first time joining us. Thank you so much. On this channel, we talk movies, a lot of movies, movie news, movie reviews, and a little bit more. Today, we're going to talk about some movie news stories that broke. We're also going to take a look at 2 movies that I was able to get out to see this week, and that would be Smallfoot as well as Night School. And then we're going to take a look at what's hitting theaters this week, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and finally, my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. Again, if this is your first time joining us, thank you so much. Be sure to click the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss any content when the new content drops right here on this channel. Also, if at any point during this show you enjoy any part of the show, go ahead and give me the thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. All right, let's go ahead and get some more commercials out of the way, and then we will hop into this week's show. If you are not, go ahead and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Brunansky's Vlog, as well as Stardust. Stardust is an app you can download from the App Store, and that's where I do all my movie trailer reviews. So just go to Stardust, download that, and find us at Brunansky's Vlog. Right now, we got over 200 movie trailer reviews up there, so go ahead and check out all that content waiting for you there. Also, as we go through this episode, we got some news stories we're going to be talking about, as well as the weekend box office to see what you guys saw. All of the links for all of the articles we're going to talk about are in the description box below. So make sure you hit that little arrow, expand the box. You can follow along there. Plus, if you're interested in starting your own YouTube channel, if you have any interest in starting your own live streams or anything like that on Twitch or Facebook Live, go ahead and check down in the description box below as well, because I threw some recommendations for some entry-level gear I think you might enjoy or you might find useful and beneficial for starting your own channel. So go ahead and check out those links as well. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into this week's show. Like I said, we've got a lot to talk about. We got some news stories that hit. We got the weekend box office, 2 movie reviews, which you'll hear about later in the show, hitting theaters this week, hitting DVD and Blu-ray this week, and Certified Rad. So let's go ahead and jump right now into this week's news segment. All right, there we go. And down below, you'll see it. The ticker tape is running. So keep your eyes on there. Those are some honorable mention news stories that popped off in the news that I thought were pretty interesting, but we didn't have time for to really jump into and dissect on this week's show. So as you heard, I saw 2 movies this week. I got out and saw Smallfoot, and I got out and saw Night School. Those reviews are going to be dropping later in the show, so stay tuned for those. But let's take a look at the weekend box office numbers right now and check out the films that you guys saw this weekend. So coming to us in the number 5 spot, we have The Nun at $5,435,000. Number 4 is A Simple Favor at $6,600,000. Number 3, A House with a Clock in Its Walls at $12,510,000. Number 2 is Smallfoot at $23,020,000. And number 1 is Night School at $28 million. So really nice showing for Night School as a comedy. Yeah, it did really well. Same thing with Smallfoot, animated feature. Both of these films, and I don't really go into this in the review, so we'll discuss it right now. Both of these films, I don't think their marketing was very good for the quality of the films that we got. What I got from the advertisements, the trailers, the posters for Night School was what I thought was going to be just this kind of goofy adults go back to school movie. And I was actually surprised at the level of depth that the film had for, you know, perseverance, determination, etc. And I walked out of the theater quite surprised at some of the richness in the story and kind of how heartfelt certain moments were and how one guy's trying to get his life back together and the steps he goes through to do so. I thought it was very different in a better way, in a much better way than what the trailers recommended, or not recommended, but what they displayed and what they showed. So very surprised by Night School, just not just the box office, but how well it's doing despite the marketing, because I feel the marketing undersold the film in the same way I feel the marketing undersold Smallfoot. When I saw the film, I didn't realize it was going to be a musical. And so when everything kind of started popping off with songs and when Common starts rapping, I was surprised in a good way, in a positive way. I was like, what? Oh, this is a musical. This isn't just like, you know, a comedy like Despicable Me or something like that. Like, this has actually got some like song and dance numbers to it. And I was impressed with that aspect of it because I didn't get that from the trailers. So again, both of these films, I think the marketing undersold the quality of the films, but yet they both are in the #1 and the #2 spots. So job well done to Night School and Smallfoot. Stay tuned later in the show. You'll hear more on both of those films from me in the review section. House with a Clock in Its Walls. I really, really like this film. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. It's just a fun movie. The characters are good. The story's good. There's one little bit towards the end that kind of knocked it out of, you know, all the high fives. And if you want to hear all of my reasons for the film being good, as well as that one little bit at the end, you can go back and you can watch my review for that. It's on the movie review playlist right now, so go ahead and check that out. But the film, I thought the characters were good. I like the on-screen chemistry between all the characters. I like the story for the most part. It just really worked. It really surprised me. And I think this is going to have some legs. I think not necessarily in theaters, but it could have legs in theaters. I think it's good enough to have legs in theaters. But once it hits DVD, once it hits, you know, syndication, and we're streaming it on TV channels all the time, and ABC Family, like, right, how they do the 30 Days of Halloween or whatever it is. So, like, I think it could have some legs, like, in the long term, not just in the theater, but once it's out of the theater, once it's available for DVD streaming and just television. I think this film was good enough to have legs. So there you go. House with a Clock in Its Walls. If you haven't seen it, if you can't figure out by now, I'm definitely recommending you go check it out. If you have kids and you're wondering if it's kids movie, though, definitely check out my review for more information on the film. That way you can decide on whether or not you want your kids to see this. But definitely check out that review. Simple Favor, #4. Enjoyed Simple Favor a lot. My biggest complaint with that film was certain scenes felt like they were ripped from other movies, right? So it's a suspense thriller with some comedy in it. Some of the scenes that had the comedy felt like they were from a comedy film. It didn't feel like it fit the world that this film exists in. It felt like it was kind of like this offshoot world that was taking place, and it just kind of pulled me out of certain moments. But for the most part, I thought the film was done really well, and I thought the consistency and tone and pacing was really nice. But then, like, all of a sudden there'd be like a comedy scene, and I was like, this feels like a comedy movie. This doesn't feel like what is happening in the psychological thriller, The Conjuring universe. But hey, if you like The Conjuring universe, if you like The Nun, go ahead and sound off below in the comments. Leave your thoughts, leave your take on the franchise as a whole. Leave your take on the film if you just saw the film. Is this one of your favorite, like, horror genre like franchises? Like, is that your deal? Do you like it? Let me know. All right, let's round out the top 10 real quick. Number 10, Peppermints. 9, White Boy Rick. Number 8, The Predator. Number 7, Crazy Rich Asians. And number 6, Hellfest. So out of the top 10, not really too many big surprises. I would say my biggest surprise would be Hellfest at number 6. Last week, if you watched last week's show, you know that I didn't know anything about this film when it was coming out. I pulled it up when I was doing my show note reviews and everything, get ready for the show. I was like, I don't even know what this movie is. I don't remember hearing about this film. So for this film to come out of nowhere on my radar and hit number 6 opening weekend, great job there. So that's the biggest surprise for me. But if you saw Hellfest, comments, hit them up, blow that area up, and let me know what you thought about Hellfest. And that is the weekend box office report. So not too bad, a little bit of something for everybody. We are moving into Halloween season, so yeah, hopefully we'll see some pretty good films coming out down the road. I think we will, as you'll hear later in the show. But stay tuned for that. All right. First news story of the day is coming to us from Screen Rant. Again, all of these news stories down below. Click the little arrow, expand the description box, and then you can follow along by clicking on those links. Kathleen Kennedy extends her Lucasfilm contract for 3 more years. So Kathleen Kennedy has been the head honcho over at Lucasfilm, similar to what Kevin Feige does over at Marvel Studios. Kathleen Kennedy has been heading up the Star Wars universe for us. And she's given us The Force Awakens. She's given us The Last Jedi. She gave us Rogue One. She gave us Solo, a Star Wars story. So 4 Star Wars films under her belt right now. And for the most part, I mean, 3 out of 4 have made money, right? So really quick with Star Wars The Force Awakens, it had a budget of about $245 million. Worldwide box office, it brought in over $2 billion. Rogue One had a $200 million budget. World box office take was over $1 billion. So, I mean, both of those films made money. Now, with Star Wars The Last Jedi and Solo, a Star Wars story, Disney didn't release the official budget for those films that I could find online. So we're just going to estimate that the budget is similar to what we got from Rogue One and Force Awakens. So we're going to say in excess of $200 million, but below $300 million. And with The Last Jedi, it made over $1 billion. And then Solo is going to, it did suffer some losses because it only brought in $392 million. So if you look at the films, right, you want to kind of double what the budget is to break even. And clearly it did not double that, right? So even if it was, let's just say on the low end, Solo was coming in at $200 million, it did not hit the $400 million mark to break even. So a Solo, a Star Wars story did lose some money for Disney Lucasfilm, but as you heard last week on the show, Bob Iger said they're going to be slowing down and they're going to be releasing less Star Wars. So it's not like every year there's a Star Wars movie, right? So I think that's a pretty good idea. And I like that Kathleen Kennedy is coming back, because say what you will about the films. You know, The Last Jedi was okay for me. I know it was very polarizing online. People either loved it or they hated it, right? It was just like we celebrated or extreme vitriol, right? We're cheering glasses or we're torching buildings. Like that was kind of the vibe online for, you know, The Last Jedi. And I had some issues with it and I enjoyed some things about it. I was kind of in the middle of the road. I was like, well, that was a Star Wars movie. And then I kind of moved on with it, right? I liked Rogue One. I liked the new characters in Rogue One. I liked the Darth Vader stuff in Rogue One. I thought there was some good humor in it, but it also still felt like Star Wars. And same thing with The Force Awakens. I like The Force Awakens. I like The Force Awakens more than I like The Last Jedi. And Solo, a Star Wars story, you know, there was a lot of trouble on the production for that film. And Ron Howard stepped in at the last minute at the 11th hour. And I think what he was able to give us on the time constraints and everything that he had to try and redo most of the film, I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining, right? So when you have something that's super troubled and then you've got to bring somebody in to kind of correct almost everything and basically reshoot most, if not all of the film, and that's the final product you get on a rush timetable, I thought it was entertaining for what we got. Considering everything that led up to it, I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to picking up the Blu-ray so I can see the special editions, like the behind the scenes stuff and, you know, the commentary and everything like that, hopefully on the Blu-ray. So I'm looking forward to that. But it makes sense, going back to Bob Iger's interview where he said they're going to slow down. It makes sense because if you like what someone is doing, right? I've managed people, I've managed teams, I've managed departments. And when you like what your team is doing or you like what your leaders are doing, but maybe there's too much being thrown at them at once, it makes sense, right? You would slow things down a little bit so that they can fit and work their best, right, in their comfort zone. So you don't want to like overwhelm your star players. You want to make sure that you're delivering a workload to your star players that they can really knock out of the park. They can achieve super results on those things, right? So it makes sense that he's saying, all right, I like what Kathleen Kennedy is doing. She's making money for Star Wars. She's making money for Disney. Say what you will about the films, whether you love them or hate them. You heard my take on all 4 of the films. Most of these films, 3 out of the 4 are making money. And Solo, a Star Wars story, could still break even down the road with DVD and Blu-ray sales. So say what you will, she's making money for the team. She's still putting out products that a lot of people enjoy because a lot of people are spending money and these films are making a lot of money. So it makes sense that they would say, look, we like what you're doing. Maybe we were wrong, right? Maybe we just rushed it. We threw too much on your plate at once. We're going to slow things down and we're going to give you an opportunity to shine and continue to deliver products that everybody is going to like, that are going to be at that Disney level quality, right? That makes perfect sense in my mind. And that's what I feel like they're doing. They're saying, look, Kathleen, we really like what you're doing. We really like how you're making us money, how you're making the fans happy, most importantly, how you're delivering these quality products with these new characters, new merchandising, etc. Right? Because we get all these new toys with all these new movies. And we like what you're doing, but we realize maybe we were trying to do too much too fast. And that's on all of us. That's not necessarily just on you, right? Maybe that was the conversation that they had. So they take a step back. They say, let's go ahead and give you an opportunity to shine. We're going to kind of go with this new plan, and hopefully it'll work, and hopefully it'll knock it out of the park, and hopefully we'll get more Star Wars that we all like, because that's what it seems like they're going to be doing for us. So I don't know. That's my take. Let me know what you guys think. Throw your comments in the comments section below. Let me know, are you a Star Wars fan of the old franchise, the prequels, the new stuff? Are you a fan of all of it? Do you have like certain sections you like more than others? Get that conversation started in the comments section below. All right, we're going to try and push through these next two stories because it looks like we are closing in on 20 minutes. We're going to try and keep this at the 30-minute mark. Hopefully we can do it. I don't know. We'll find out. Next one, Dark Phoenix pushed back to June. Untitled Deadpool movie opening in December. Plus, Alita Battle Angel gets pushed. This is all coming to us from the Hollywood Reporter. Now, we have an untitled Deadpool movie scheduled for release in December of this year, 2018, like 2 months from now. It's October 1st. December's right around the corner. So I'm curious to see. I got to do some more research to find out what this Deadpool movie is going to be. There's some rumors that I read online when I was going through all of the news this morning, trying to prep for it, that this may just be like an extended version of Deadpool 2 with some added scenes. There were some photos going around line with him and Ben Savage, like circa The Princess Bride. So it could be something like that. I don't know. There was some articles that hinted that that might be. There's something in here actually that talks about how that might possibly be the deal. But check the article out because it gives the new dates for all of the films. I'm still not convinced Gambit's going to happen. There's been pushback after pushback after pushback. Now they're saying that it's going to be like a rom-com. I don't know how that's going to work because originally it was going to be a heist film. Now it's going to be a rom-com. Is it going to be a rom-com heist film? Who knows? So I'm not really set that this is actually going to happen. Alita Battle Angel also got pushed. And that's going to be released next year in February. So over Valentine's Day, February 14th. It moved from December to February of 2019. So that could be better for it. I don't know. That way it doesn't get lost in the holiday shuffle, right? Coming right out right before Christmas. There's other films coming out at that time that were definitely going to steal its attention. I'm looking forward to Alita Battle Angel because I like the way it looks. And I think it's going to be a fun kind of different film that we don't normally see very often. So I don't know. We'll see about that. The photos I saw, I haven't watched the trailer yet for Dark Phoenix, but the photos I saw online for Dark Phoenix do not have me hyped at all. So we'll have to wait and see. But everything being moved around, I'm just not sure what's going on with these properties. I'm just not sure. It feels like they're not really like, it feels like Fox isn't really 100% like these are going to be awesome. Like, I don't feel like that's the vibe they're giving us. I feel like they're kind of playing this weird game of like try and find the ball under the cup and they just keep moving the cups around. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I got to watch the trailers. I'll be doing that hopefully tomorrow so I can get that up on the Stardust app, as well as a few other films that have dropped some trailers. But all of these delays, all of these pushbacks, the sudden announcement of a brand new Deadpool movie, I don't know what's going on at Fox, but leave your thoughts in the comments below. Curious to see what happens with this Deadpool movie coming out in 2 months. Curious to see what happens with Dark Phoenix after I have time to watch the trailer. If you saw the trailer, let us know what you thought about it down below. But most out of all of this, the thing that was the big takeaway for me was the Alita Battle Angel being moved to February, because I think that might give it an opportunity to make more money. Like I said, right? It won't get lost in the holiday shuffle. I think it might have an opportunity to make more money because there's not usually a lot of like big hitters in January and February, right? We talked about that before on the show. That's kind of like a dumping ground. So hopefully it has an opportunity to stand and shine without much competition and it can make more money. All right, next story is Gal Gadot set to star in Death on the Nile over at Fox. Another Fox story. This is coming to us from Deadline. And Kenneth Branagh is coming back to direct, right? He did Murder on the Orient Express. I'm a big Kenneth Branagh fan. I like the way he directs his films. Thor, the first Thor, is still one of my favorite films in the top 5. for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I liked what he did with Cinderella, and I liked what he did with Murder on the Orient Express. Kenneth Branagh does a really nice job of creating people in films that feel like people. They feel three-dimensional. They feel real. They don't feel like two-dimensional cardboard cutouts or caricatures. And he manages to bring out real emotion from his actors on screen too. So when they do the close-ups, you can see that there are actual feelings going on while they're delivering these lines and giving these performances. So I'm a really big fan of Kenneth Branagh's work. So I'm really happy he's coming back to do this. And I'm a fan of Gal Gadot. I think she's a very talented actress, and she's come a long way from her earlier films to now. She's definitely rounding out, and she's delivering more emotion on screen and becoming more three-dimensional. And I just continue to enjoy her performances, and I continue to see what she's bringing every new film. So I'm excited to see that she is joining up with Kenneth Branagh. Looking forward to this story. Death on the Nile. It's just like Murder on the Orient Express, but on a cruise ship on the Nile with a bunch of rich people. And then more people start dying. As he thinks he's figuring out the mystery of who's killing who, more people start dying, and he's got to figure out who is the real killer. So it sounds like it's just one thing after another, constantly building on tension, constantly building on the big question of who is the murderer. So pretty excited to see this. I enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express. Check out my review for that in the movie review playlist. All right, that wraps up the news for this week. We are going to jump into the movie reviews right now. Again, that's Smallfoot and Night School. And then right after those are over, don't go anywhere. We will be right back because we are going to take a look at what's hitting theaters this week, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We got these movie reviews coming for you, Smallfoot and Night School, and then we'll be back to talk more movies. Stay tuned. Above the clouds of the Himalayan mountains exists a village of mythological beasts. These giant snow creatures are considered to be a terror to humanity. But how do the Yetis feel about the humans? Is the terror reciprocated, or is everyone, Yeti and human alike, all just part of some tall tale? Let's talk about Smallfoot in this movie review. The movie begins with a song about not questioning authority or existing religious beliefs, and my defenses went up immediately. The theater I was in was full of families with children, and to think that we were all just sitting there, the kids are hearing these happy songs that are being sung about conforming and not questioning authority was enough to almost get me to walk out of the theater. However, curiosity kicked in and I stayed because I wanted to wait till all the way to the end of the film to see if this actually was an indoctrination film or some piece of propaganda garbage. Happy to report that this animated family film is not. In fact, late in the second act of the film, the story takes a very fun, surprising turn that explains further into the Yeti belief system and kind of why everything is the way it is. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at that belief system. The Yeti religion is absolutely absurd, and it felt cartoonish in a lot of different ways, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the story. It's a cartoon that felt cartoonish. So far, so good. Giant snails, floating mountains, giant ice boulders. There was a lot to this world, and I enjoyed it. All of the Yetis in the town, each one, they all have an individual job or task that they're responsible for because they believe that that job or that task is going to help continue on and please the gods in their belief system. And as the movie progresses and we find out the real meaning behind their religion and kind of what's going on behind the veil once the curtain is lifted, those jobs that they have become increasingly more important from my point of view. And their belief system is all based on a series of stones that is worn like a robe by one of the Yetis who is their leader, who is referred to as the Stone Keeper. He is the one that is able to decipher the stones, and he is able to tell them all what it means and remind them of the law. That way the whole society that they live in within this village doesn't fall apart into chaos. And in their little village above the clouds, high up there in the mountains, everything is going fine until some of the Yetis actually bring a human back to base camp. Now, running along with the story about a few Yetis trying to prove the existence of humans, there is also the humans, one in particular, trying to prove the existence of the Yetis. We have a washed-up television host who's trying to capture one magic moment, this being the Yetis, which will propel his YouTube channel into stardom. It will go viral. It will get him the recognition that he is so longing for to get back now that he's lost it, no longer being the television host that he once was. And his desire to capture the Yeti is so powerful that he actually brings a fake Yeti costume with him to use in the event that he can't find a real life Yeti. He'll still be able to get some footage of a Yeti out in the woods with the costume. And this young man with zero integrity is named Percy, and he is voiced by James Corden. And early in the film, he finds himself in the company of not just one Yeti, but several Yetis, which is going to propel him back into stardom. Also, let's not forget about that Yeti costume he has and how it comes in handy later in the film. Don't worry, I won't spoil it in this review. In all, this film does a pretty nice job of exploring and showing different points of view, being part of a community, finding your integrity, being brave, falling in love, being truthful, and dishing out forgiveness. I was actually really surprised at the levels and the depth that this film has within the main story, because we find out that the Stonekeeper, his major responsibility is maintaining several lies to keep their society going. And if something new pops up that contradicts any of the existing lies, his job is to create a brand new lie that completely squashes that question and pushes everybody back into the societal norm that currently exists in their village. This film really goes crazy deep into the philosophy of what is and what is not acceptable to maintain your society, to maintain your status quo, and to keep everybody safe, which really surprised me. You got the two worlds of Yetis and humans trying to join together and create a brand new existence. You've got Yetis falling in love. There's humans believing in each other and forgiving each other. There's humor, there's heart, there's singing, there's rapping, and more. Smallfoot is playing at your local movie theater right now. And if you have a family with children in it, this is a fun animated movie that you could take your kids to, because it just really does a great job of exploring how you need to get out and experience life for yourself. And if you're looking for immediate market research, the kids in the theater I was in all found the slapstick humor in this film very funny. So the target demographic that this film was shooting for knew their audience, and they knew them well. I laughed more than I anticipated I would, and again, the depth of the story really surprised me. However, the story does drag a little bit at times, and it feels a little convoluted and repetitive at times. So because of that, Smallfoot is only getting one high five from this guy. Smallfoot is playing at your local movie theater right now. Check it out. Life is all about developing and growing at your own speed. Some folks see life as just one step after another that they need to go through, while others may enjoy kind of jumping around a little bit and enjoying the curves of life, more than necessarily just one step after another. Whatever your preference is, however you choose to experience and live your life, there's opportunities waiting for you if you do the work. And that is exactly what this film preaches. So, does Night School deliver on the comedy and the fun promised in the trailers? Or will we be giving this film a failing grade? Let's talk about it in this review. The movie really finds its value in its dedication to the belief that no matter where you are in life, with hard work, you can progress forward. The characters in this film are fine, the story is fine, and the comedy is fine. However, it's the constant pursuit of achievement through dedicated hard work, acknowledging who you are, moving past who you were, and embracing the future that awaits you really make this film shine. Our protagonist in this film, Teddy Walker, played by Kevin Hart, realizes very late in life that he is learning disabled. And this realization hits him, again, very late in life, as he's struggling to comprehend kind of how he got himself into the station of life that we find him in during this film. As a salesman, he made comfortable money, and now he's going to night school and selling chicken at a fast food chicken joint. And it takes the supportive friend, played by Ben Schwartz, a loving fiance, typical parents, and a teacher who understands the challenges and the rewards of educating the learning disabled, to really bring out the best in him. In all, to kind of round it out, this film delivers a feel-good Sunday afternoon on the couch type of story. There is some predictable humor, and unfortunately, some of the characters in this film, when they're delivering their lines, they feel like they're delivering Kevin Hart lines. And knowing that Kevin Hart is credited as one of the writers on this film, that makes sense because his comedy style is going to be present if he's one of the guys writing the jokes. However, that pattern of speech and that delivery works for his character, because that's who his character is consistently throughout the film. When other characters who don't have that type of speech pattern are suddenly changing up how they talk to deliver that type of dialogue, it's kind of jarring, and it did pull me out of the moment a few times. So there is some inconsistencies with the writing as far as the dialogue is concerned. But when the other actors were simply portraying those characters without the Kevin Hart isms, they did a pretty nice job, and I enjoyed those characters. Because all of the classmates that we meet in this night school course, they all add something to the world to make it feel more believable. They each have their own personal reasons for being there, and they all want to better their life. So within those scenes, there's enough personalities that add something different and add something unique to really kind of plus the enjoyment factor for me personally. However, make no mistake, this is a Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish movie. So on occasion, certain scenes, certain moments with certain characters definitely felt forced. And what I mean by that is, at times, it felt like there was so much screen time happening between Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish that the writers suddenly realized, holy cow, we've got to get somebody else in here to break up the screen time. So just certain lines of dialogue were added for certain characters just to kind of force them into the moment to break up the screen time, so it wasn't just Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish all the time. Night School is playing at your local movie theater right now, and I am going to recommend a big screen viewing of this film if you want to sit down, turn your brain off, and just laugh. I enjoyed my time in the theater with these characters and a story about perseverance, second chances, friendship, family, and love. And within the story, there are a few surprises. Some of these surprises even happen late in the movie, and they continue to build on this theme of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. However, and again, it does have that feel-good Sunday afternoon on the couch type of vibe to it. So because of that, Night School will be getting one high five from this guy. Night School is playing at your local movie theater right now. Check it out. All right, that is it. Now, long-winded Jeremy has taken over. We are past 30 minutes. So we're going to try and get through these last couple segments without taking up too much of your Monday morning. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you're still watching with us, appreciate it. We have what's hitting theaters this week, so let's jump into that right now. Coming into theaters this week, we have Venom and A Star is Born. Out of these two films, looking forward to both of these films. Some films just look so bad you can't wait to see them because you want to see what the train wreck is going to look like. You know, it's that accident that you can't look away from. That's what I feel Venom is going to be. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that it actually is a pretty fairly good movie and entertaining with good special effects and everything else. But there's something in my gut that tells me this is going to be a train wreck. So I hope it's a good train wreck. Star is Born looks incredible. I've really liked the trailers. I've really liked the on-screen chemistry between all of the people that I've seen in those trailers. So very excited about that one. Yeah, hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comments below. All right, hitting theaters this week. We've got Three Identical Strangers, The First Purge, Leave No Trace, The Catcher Was a Spy, and Sicario: Day of the Soldado. Out of these films, I have seen Sicario: Day of the Soldado, so check out my review for that in the movie review playlist. Three Identical Strangers looks good. There's a story about triplets who are separated at birth and they finally find each other. And there's like a crazy weird mystery that goes along with it. First Purge, I haven't seen any of these movies, so I can't comment on it. Leave No Trace looked interesting. It looked like it was going to be a more dramatic piece dealing with veterans and PTSD, if memory serves. And then The Catcher Was a Spy. I am looking forward to that one now that it is on a DVD and Blu-ray this week. So there you go. Let me know if you've seen these 5 movies. What did you think in the comments section below? All right. We're going to go ahead and jump into the last bit here, and that is Certified Rad. If you're new to the channel, Certified Rad is any news story or any item or book or tech gear review or whatever I find, and I look it over and I'm like, that's pretty rad. Or it could be something someone sends me and they're like, hey, Jeremy, check this out. I'll look it over. If it's rad, we certify it rad every week right here on this channel. So this week for Certified Rad, we have talked a lot about hurricane relief, not just for what's going on right now on the East Coast, but also when we had that big hurricane coming through Texas. There's just something about natural disasters that while it does the worst to humanity, it also brings out the best in humanity. And so we're going to take a look at another story right now dealing with bringing out the best. So after the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico, a celebrity chef and his team decided to go set up shop and do a bunch of cooking. And they started a nonprofit to go do a bunch of cooking down there to make sure people got food. So Jose Andres and his nonprofit World Central Kitchen were responsible for feeding millions of people during every kind of natural disaster. In Puerto Rico, they served over 3.6 million meals And then his team stayed for an entire year to keep making the food for the nation as they continued to recover. So what happened is once we got that hurricane that hit the East Coast from the Carolinas, the World Central Kitchen decided that they were going to set up shop over there in Raleigh and Williamton, North Carolina. And they were going to go ahead and start handing out food over there. So far, according to in the article, they reference an article from CNN. They said that the team delivered over 140,000 meals to more than a dozen shelters, police stations, response teams, neighborhoods, and families without access to food. And again, they set up shop in Williamton and Raleigh, North Carolina. So over the course of the last week, they have been the only food relief operation serving on a large scale in the affected counties. And they said they're willing to risk the danger of the weather to make sure people can still get fed. So when you have a gift or a talent like cooking, like this guy, Jose Andres, and you're a celebrity chef who knows what he's doing, and you've got a team of dedicated people who know what they're doing, and you decide to set out and you have a nonprofit that specializes in feeding people in need, especially after hurricanes and other natural disasters, and you go out into those affected areas and you put yourself in harm's way to make sure that you can help people because you feel that is your calling, you can guarantee that that is most definitely certified rad. So check that article out down below. That's coming to us from the Good News Network. So go ahead and check that out. That is in the description box and it's waiting for you down below. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining us. We went a little bit over by about 7 minutes here, so hopefully it didn't take up too much of your Monday, but I do appreciate everybody sticking around with me to the end. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you did, give me the thumbs up. The thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. Also, don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get the notifications when new content drops. Finally, find us on Twitter and Stardust at brunanskysvlog. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope you're able to get out and check out some of the films that are currently in theaters, as well as the 2 films getting ready to hit theaters this weekend. Hope you guys are enjoying October as it's kicked in. Hope you're ready for Halloween. Hope you've got all of your costumes and candy and everything else ready that goes along with this holiday season. And as always, we will see you next Monday, bright and early, right here on YouTube at 10 a.m. PST. But until then, until next time, and as always, good night and good luck.